Hello students, this is Mr. Morris. I'm sorry the quality of my video earlier today was not good, so I decided to make the video again. I'm using my computer at home, so I'm going to open up Autodesk Inventor. You just do a double click with your left mouse button, and I have Inventor Professional 2023. So when you first click on it, your screen is going to look like this here. Just a second. Alright, so we're going to open up create a new file. So go ahead and click on new. When I say click, that means your left mouse button. Of course, if I say right click, that means your right mouse button. You have to pick which units you're going to be working with here. In this case, we're going to use English. And by the way, this is a standard IPT, which means standard Inventor part file. Notice it's in inches. So I clicked English, I clicked standard IPT, and I selected create. Alright, so to begin this part, we're going to make a 3D print of this part, and it's kind of a simple part to start off with. It's actually called a T-slot cleaner. It's a tool that machinists use to clean out T-slots on milling machines and CNC milling machines and so forth. But it also looks like a keychain. So anyway, you go up here to the top left-hand corner and click on Start 2D Sketch. You should double-click actually. Well, no, I'm sorry. I take that. That's one click. And then you click here. So you actually click in here and then click on Start 2D Sketch. Sorry about that. Now we're going to click on this XY plane. There's three planes here you could choose. 99% of the time Mr. Morris chooses this one. So I'm going to click on XY plane. Okay. Now we're going to start off. This is not the most efficient way of making a CAD model, but for those who are new to using CAD, I think this is the best way to start off. So I'm going to come up here, I'm going to draw a rectangle, so arrow down, and I'm going to click rectangle 2-point center. Move your mouse over here, your cursor rather. If you move towards the origin, you see that it turns green. Click with your left mouse button and just kind of move your mouse out. Notice one dimension is highlighted in blue, so it's asking for input there. I'm going to type in a 6, and then I'm going to hit the tab button. Now notice I can't see the ends of the part, but that's okay. What you can do here, we're going to enter the height here of this part, and we're going to type in 1.125 and hit enter. Now I'm going to do a right click this time with your mouse and select OK. So notice when I did a right click, that little menu bar window came up. Now you can't see the whole part, right? So if you get in the habit of rotating your scroll wheel on your mouse, you can zoom in and out. You can hold down the scroll wheel, move your mouse, and you can pan. It's very handy to be able to know how to do that. Go ahead and select Finish Sketch here. Alright, notice it's moved into the isometric view. At this time, I would like to introduce you up here to the View Cube. This is a way that you can manipulate the view that you want. So that's the front view. Click on this arrow, shows you the right side view, the back, the left, front again. You can also rotate it counterclockwise by clicking on that arrow, and you can click on this arrow with the left mouse button. You can also put in an isometric view. You can click on these corners like this. Alright. You can also click on these corners. So this is a way to manipulate your view. Alright, now Um, we have the sketch. We created that in the sketch mode. Now what we need to do is we need to extrude this, which we're going to give it some depth. So if you go to extrude, now notice it wants to extrude. If you look down here in the lower left hand corner, you see the x-axis and the y-axis and the z-axis. Those are all positive directions. Okay, I don't really want to go in the positive z direction, but I also don't want that thickness either. So for this particular assignment, this distance right here you see is 1. We want to come up here and make that distance right here. We want to change that to 0.125. Sorry. And we're going to change the direction. I don't want to go in the positive z direction. I want to go in the negative z direction. More about the reason why I do that later. Select OK. Alright. Now, we need to go on to our next feature here. So go to Start 2D Sketch. Click on Start 2D Sketch and then click on this face. And now your line of sight is perpendicular or normal to that surface. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to select rectangle again with our mouse, but click on 2-point rectangle. And I'm just going to click on an arbitrary point right here, click, and drag a rectangle like that, click. Do a right click with your mouse, select OK. And we're going to do this again with the rectangle, 2-point, and we'll click right here. I'm not going to make it exactly like that one there because I'll show you why. You do a right click, OK. Alright, now we have to put some dimensions in here. So come here and click on this dimension, symbol right here. Click on this line and click on this line. And we're going to click and see it has a dimension they want us to edit here. And we're going to change that to 0.375 and select the green check mark. We're going to also do that over here on this one as well. Go to the dimension, click, left mouse button, click, click, drag your dimension off the part, click. Again, that's with the left mouse button when I say click. We're going to make this 0.375 as well. And then click on the green check mark. Alright, now I need to do a calculation here. I can put a dimension here and I'm going to show you, let's say I don't know what this dimension is. I could, let me hit the escape button just for a moment. If I hit this dimension icon here, click, and then click on this line and then move my cursor up and click, it's going to ask for a dimension here. Alright, now you have this drawing. I shared this drawing with you in the module. Now what you can do here is you can actually, I don't normally do it this way, I just normally just use my calculator, but you can hit the backspace key here and you can type in a mathematical formula. So I'm putting a parenthesis and 2.125. That's one dimension that I want to use. Subtract 0.375, okay, and then close parenthesis, and I'm going to enter here. So see, it gave me the difference between those two dimensions. So I know now that that's supposed to be 1.750, and again, if you look on the drawing, you will see where these dimensions are coming from. I'm going to click on this dimension tool again, left click, drag down, left click. Alright, again, I'm going to make this, hit the backspace, that deletes that number that's there. And we're going to type in 1.750. Click on the, you could enter or select the green check mark. Now we're going to do a dimension from this line here to this line, and you click both times and then click and hit the backspace here, and we're going to make this, now this is also based on the numbers that are given on the drawing or dimensions. what I'm going to do here is make it 1.125, okay, minus 0.5, close parenthesis, use a divide, we're going to divide, use a divider, divided by 2, and enter, and that is the right dimension. So now we don't have to do the calculation here, we can just simply click here and click here, click, hit the backspace, and make this 0.313, and select the green check mark. Alright, now what I want to do, excuse me, I'm going to finish the sketch here, and I'm going to go to extrude, and I'm going to select here and here, okay, and I'm going to, by selecting I mean you're clicking, click here and click here. So I clicked in all of that region there. I'm going to come over here, look at this window, and I'm going to flip it in the opposite direction. And what does that do? That subtracts that material rather than add material. If you click this arrow, it's going to add material. If I click this arrow here, it subtracts material, and I'm going to select OK. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and save this because I haven't saved it. So I'm going to do a File, Save As, and the name of this file here is going to be T-slot-3D print, and then dash and your last name. So my last name is Morris. You put your last name there. Okay, and I'm going to save it. Notice here, now this is called the browser. Notice when I changed the file name, or I gave it a name, it actually put the file name at the very top line of your browser. Okay? Now, I need to do some rounding of these corners. They're very sharp corners, and we're going to use the fillet command to do that. So come up here, you'll see the fillet command. Again, it's used to round corners, and I'm going to arrow down, click on fillet, and actually the default is the value I'm going to use, so just leave it at 0.1, but you could change that. I mean, you could change that to any value you want to. For example, I could make that 0.25 and come over here and select that edge, which is that corner. See how it puts a rounded corner here. Well, I'm going to undo that because that's not the size, that's not the radius I want. So come back to fillet, select fillet again, and we're going to change this to 0.125, and watch, I'm going to select, I can do it all at one time. This corner, I'm going to select, or this edge, select this edge, and believe it or not, Inventor has X-ray vision. I'm going to select this edge, and I'm happy with that. I'm going to select OK. Alright. Now, I want to change the material of this part. So what I'm going to do is up here on the browser, do a right click with your mouse on the file name. Do a right click, go to iProperties, and go to Physical, and we're going to right here where it says Material Generic, arrow down here, okay, and then you're going to take the scroll bar and scroll down. I'm just going to use steel alloy for right now, even though we're going to make this part out of plastic because we're going to make a 3D print of this. I'm going to apply this and close, and it does look like a metal part. You see the sheen there, okay. Oh, the luster is probably a better word. So this is the metal part. Now we have one more feature to add here to this part as a whole, and I'm looking at my drawing here. So I'm going to go to Start 2D Sketch, Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to click on this surface. We're going to put a hole in here, so we have to use a circle in this case. Go to Circle, and go to Circle Center Point. Now look, I'm going to do this, I'm going to over-exaggerate this a little bit. Let me undo that to show you one more time. So click on the circle, click on circle center point, click on your part anywhere, drag out a big circle, whatever size you want, click with the left mouse button, then do a right click with your mouse and select OK. Alright, now we have to change the dimension of this circle, so we're going to go to the dimension tool, and we're going to come down here to this circle, we're going to click on it, left click, we're going to drag the dimension off the part, click, and we're going to change this to 0.25, right, and then enter. Now, obviously we don't want the whole way over here, so we have to add a couple more dimensions. I'm going to click here on this edge and click on the center of the circle, drag this dimension off, click, and hit my backspace, and this is going to be 0.563. Select the green check mark. Okay, now we have it on the center line, and now we're going to add another dimension. Click here, click on this edge, click on the center, click, hit the backspace, and this is going to be 0.313. Select the green check mark, and we're going to finish the sketch. So click here. I notice how it automatically always kind of goes into the isometric view, which I prefer. You may have a different, you may prefer another way. It's your preference. I'm going to select extrude. I don't notice that it extruded the last profile that it has to be a closed profile. So the last closed profile I drew was a circle, but I don't want to go this way. I'm going to click on this arrow here to flip it, and it's going the other way, creating a hole here. I'm going to select OK. Now I'm going to file, and I'm going to save. Alright, now with this part, you're not going to make a drawing. Some of you have had CAD before, some of you have not had CAD. Really, I just want you to be able to make the model right now, because we need the model to make the 3D print. And this is a 3D, this is CAD 235, this is a 3D printing class. But before I do that, I want to add our name here. You can put your name on here as well. So you go to Start 2D Sketch, Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to click on this surface right here. I'm going to go to Text right here. So arrow down and click on Text, and select, click on a point anywhere on your part. And I'm going to type in Ed Morris here. Excuse me. I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to make it, I think 0.375 is what worked for me earlier. So I'm going to enter and do a right click, select OK. Now I can move this. If you hold down your left mouse button and move your mouse, I can drag this so it's basically centered on that line. Notice I'm using the middle horizontal member of E as a guide, so I know that if I put that middle member right on that center line, there we go. Now I'm going to finish the sketch. Now you can do one of two things here. You can either emboss, click here, and you can click on your text, and you have to give it a height. You can change this dimension here. Well, actually 0.1 is fine. 0.1 is fine. Select OK. Okay, you could do that, and you could be done with your part. Okay? Or perhaps you want to do an engrave instead. Now this is going to be your favorite buddy right here. It's called the undo button. If you mess up, just hit that back arrow, and it will undo what you just did. Alright, so I'm going to go to emboss again, and this time I'm going to select this engrave. Click on. Now this still shows you an arrow pointing outward. We want to flip that, and we're going to change the depth to type in a fraction if you want, 1/16 of an inch. Select OK. Now, see what it did? It engraved here, right? And you can come over here to this icon right here. If you click on that, it's called Free Orbit. This is nice because you can hold down your left mouse button and you can just move it around different axes. Or you can come around here, hold down the left mouse button. You can, rotate it about these quadrants here. I just want to be able to see the bottom of the engrave all the way to the bottom. So I'm happy there. So I'm going to turn off the orbit. You have to toggle on, toggle off. So now it's off. If you click, it's on. You have to click again to turn it off. What I'm going to do now is, it's not going to 3D print this way, but if you want to add some color to your part, you can go up here where it says semi-polished. Now watch. I'm going to hold down my control key on the keyboard, and I'm going to select the very bottom of my letters. Now you can zoom in and out the whole time you're doing this with your scroll wheel. I'm still holding down the control key, and I'm selecting the very bottom of my letters. Engrave, right? And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to arrow down here where you see it says semi-polish. I'm going to make it red, and I'm going to file, and I'm going to save. Now look what it did. It's a red color, the text is. So again, you can do emboss or you can do engrave, whichever one you want to do. I'm going to get back into an isometric here. Now, what I'd like for you to do at this point, there's two parts to this. One is the PNG file, which is a picture. You're just going to submit a picture of what you did in Inventor. Again, this software is called Autodesk Inventor. We have created a 3D model here, and I want a picture. Now, in the future, I may ask you to make a drawing, which you have to lay out a drawing with dimensions and so forth, but that's later. I'm going to go to File, and we're going to go to Export. So click, go to Image, click. There is our file name. We've already established that. We're going to down arrow here and select PNG, and we're going to save that. Now you can go. I can go and find that file. Here it is right here. I can double click on this, and there's a picture of what we just modeled. I'm going to close this out. Okay, I'm going to close this out. I'm going to go back to Inventor. Now what I want you to do is go to File, Save As, or excuse me, not go to File. I didn't mean to say File, Export, select CAD format. This is the format your model must be in order to make a 3D print. You're going to arrow down here, and you're going to go to where it says STL files. Click there, and we're going to save that. And one more time, File, Export, CAD format, click, and make sure you select STL, which is sterile lithography file. This is the file that you're going to need to make your 3D print. Save. Yes. And that's it for right now. We're going to get the IP addresses fixed on the 3D printers, and we'll be printing these very soon. All right. We'll talk to you later, and see you in the next class. Take care.